From cheating scandals to fake marriages, here's our list of dark secrets the Kardashian family tried to hide and failed. Now, something you might not know is that Kris Jenner is a serial cheater. In the mid-70s, Kris was in a relationship with Cesar Sando, the pro golfer. She then cheated on him with Robert Kardashian, whom she later married in 1978, and they had 4 children together: Kourtney, Kim, Khloe, and Robert. But then she cheated again, and they got divorced in 1991. Now, there's some suspicion that she cheated more than once on Robert, but her most significant affair was with soccer player Todd Waterman. Sometimes people think the grass is always greener, and that was like what I think I went through at some point, Kris once told People magazine. Now, when Robert became suspicious of his wife, he reportedly hired a private investigator who had plenty of evidence to prove Kris was unfaithful. Now, since then, Kris has openly admitted that she is not proud of what she did to Rob, and HuffPost also reported that Caitlyn Jenner's decision to leave Kris had a lot to do with her cheating, which I can't blame her for. And then there's the fact that with Kris's cheating, there's a theory that Khloe Kardashian's father isn't actually Rob Kardashian. According to Daily Mail, Todd Waterman came forward in 2012 to claim that Kris was sleeping with him during her marriage to Robert. He alleged that their wild and passionate affair was the catalyst for Kris and Robert's divorce. Now, when Kris wrote the autobiography Kris Jenner and All Things Kardashian, she called a mystery lover Ryan. Whether Todd is telling the truth or not, he isn't one of the men fans talk about when discussing Khloe and who her real father may be. There's rumors that Kris's former hairdresser, Alex Ralden, is Khloe's real father, and this rumor never fades because the resemblance between Alex and Khloe is honestly just uncanny. While Khloe has since had a nose job, she was previously a dead ringer for Alex. Now, O.J. Simpson was also rumored to be Khloe's father. O.J. was represented by his friend Robert Kardashian, and he was quite close to the Kardashian family. Many people believe that he and Kris had an affair, but Kris and O.J. have separately spoken out against the rumors many times over the years, and fiercely denied odd claims that they secretly reunited in the 90s to make love in a hot tub. Now, in 2017, the momager burst into tears during an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, fuming that rumors had kept up for decades. They printed a story I was sleeping with OJ. After 25 years, you would think it just wouldn't be a thing, she sobbed to Khloe. Now, 2 years later, OJ shared a video on Father's Day vowing that he was never interested in Kris in a romantic sense, while also calling out the renewed theories that he was Khloe's father. Never, and I want to stress never, in any way, shape, or form have I had any interest in Kris, romantically or sexually, he said at the time. Now, I don't know though. I kinda believe this whole theory, but who's Khloe's real father? The world may never know. Now, who could forget the moment at the 2009 VMAs when Kanye West stormed the stage when Taylor Swift was accepting her VMA for Best Female Video. Now, Kanye took the mic from her and said the infamous line, "Yo Taylor, I'm really happy for you, I'ma let you finish, but Beyonce has one of the best videos of all time." Now, this then created a feud between the pair, but it appeared that they had seemingly made up in 2015 after being seen together at award shows and posting on social media. But that all changed in 2016 as Kanye dropped his song Famous, which had the line, "I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex, why I made that be famous." Now, he claimed that he had Taylor's permission, which she denied. However, Kim Kardashian, his wife at the time, stepped in to defend him, saying that Taylor totally approved that lyric and went a step further by releasing a video of a phone call between Taylor and Kanye, which you can hear them discussing the song in question. Kim then made the internet turn against Taylor, and she went into hiding for a year. But in 2020, it was revealed that the video Kim had posted was edited. Taylor then broke her silence about the video through an Instagram story where she lightly shaded Kim by writing that she was telling the truth the whole time and that somebody edited and manipulated it to frame her, aka Kim. Now, apparently, Kim Kardashian's infamous tape with her then boyfriend Ray J wasn't released by him, but it was actually done by herself and her mother Kris Jenner to thrust her into the spotlight, as they saw that's what happened to Paris Hilton, and she got even more famous. After the tape was released, Kim sued Vivid Entertainment for ownership of the tape, and in late April of 2007, Kim dropped the suit and settled for $5 million. Ray J was made to look like the bad guy, but he's since spoken out defending his innocence. He said, "I've sat in the shadows for over 14 years, allowing the Kardashians to use my name, to abuse my name, make billions of dollars over a decade and a half, talking about a topic I've never really spoken about. I have never leaked a tape in my life." Now, Ray J claims that Kim and Kris negotiated the release of the tape in the early 2000s. Now, Kris apparently watched 3 different Ray J and Kim tapes and chose to leak the one that gave her daughter a better look. Now, looking back, Ray J said that he's embarrassed of the tape. Has he said yes, he's embarrassed mostly for his children. "I have kids now. Everything I did now when we have kids is totally different. The whole thing is wacky." Now, in 2022, there were actually rumors to be another tape. In the end, Kanye West went to meet with Ray J to get the rest of the footage, or so he says, but Ray J says that all the intimate tapes were kept at Kim's house in a shoebox under her bed. I mean, this is all a lie. Since we first released the tape, this has been the biggest lie in the history of the entertainment industry. They're not letting the world know that there are a bunch of tapes that were made, but they're not going anywhere because she has them all, he said. Now, Kim's whole relationship with Kris Humphries was honestly something else. They dated for 6 months before they got married, and Kris wasn't really into all the fame, but Kim wanted it all. Not to mention, their relationship made them a lot of money. The reality star was paid $1.5 million by People magazine for their wedding photos alone. They got $300,000 for their engagement announcement, and another massive chunk of cash from both her bridal shower and the honeymoon pictures. Not to mention a bonus check they got from airing their wedding on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. But afterwards, after 72 days of marriage, Kim filed for divorce. Now, Kris felt bamboozled and cited fraud as a reason for wanting an annulment. Kim's paperwork stated irreconcilable differences, and she later discussed the marriage on her show and revealed that her mother encouraged her to run on her wedding day if she needed to. Now, following the split, Kris's lawyer told a Los Angeles fraud court that Kim had no intentions of proceeding with the marriage, that it was basically a tactic for the benefit of her show and to make money. Now, I mean, Kim even wanted her goodbye to Kris to be on the show, but the producers rejected the idea. Jonathan Jackson, who worked with the reality star between 2007 and 2009, said that the pair's union was a publicity stunt. Speaking on Good Day LA back in 2011, Jackson said, 2 weeks prior to her wedding, she knew it was not something she wanted to do. Unfortunately, they were obligated to honor contracts with E!, the network which had TV rights, otherwise they would have owed a lot of people a lot of money. And finally, as we all clearly know, the Kardashians have had their number of scandals, but one that was truly shocking had to do with Khloe and her then ex Lamar Odom. In July 2015, Khloe and Lamar signed divorce papers. However, the divorce did not receive final approval from a judge before being dismissed by request in October 2015. Why? Well, because Lamar went missing. He disappeared from everyone and left Khloe, his fans, and every NBA and sports news outlet confused as to whether he was even alive. Now, Khloe did her best to cover the scandal, doing the whole Lamar is fine thing for a day or two, but when day 3 rolled around and Lamar was still missing, she had to come clean. But what happened to him? It turned out to be addiction related, as Lamar was hospitalized after being discovered unconscious at the Love Ranch, a legal brothel in Crystal, Nevada. Now, this made the Kardashian family turn against him, and a lot of horrible stories came out about him in the press. While it hasn't been verified, Lamar still claims to this day that it was the Kardashians who revealed his dark secrets to the press, which then drove a wedge between him and Khloe. Now, there are additional claims that when Khloe learned of Lamar's actions, she secretly hired a private investigator to follow him, and Lamar even said that Kris Jenner orchestrated an incident after the divorce to get more press surrounding their broken relationship. Now, this sounds exactly like something the Kardashians would do, so I am very inclined to believe Lamar in this situation.
The devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder. What dark secrets has this momager paid to keep out of the public eye?
For some reason, fans can't stop speculating that Khloe's biological father is someone other than the late Robert Kardashian.
I know all the rumors are absolutely ridiculous.
Is Robert Kardashian actually Khloe's father? This question has been looming over the family for like years.
My dad is my dad and my stepdad's my stepdad. Thank you.
Although this is just a theory, many people believe that Kris Jenner has paid a lot of money to anyone involved who knows the real identity of daughter Khloe's biological father.
There have been plenty of rumors about the Kardashian-Jenner family over the years. The question of Khloe's paternity has had staying power.
The topic has been debated on various online platforms in the past. Khloe was raised, by the late Robert Kardashian Sr., who passed away in 2003 from cancer. Now, he was a loving and very supportive parent to his children, but there have always been conspiracy theories about Khloe's lineage. Some people think she has a different father.
Khloe looks a little bit different from her family. Rumor that Khloe doesn't have the same father as the other sisters.
Khloe considers Robert Sr. her father, but she has dealt with hurtful gossip, from those who allege that her father is another man. The rumors stem from the fact that Khloe doesn't strongly resemble Kris, the late Robert Sr., her siblings, or her half-siblings. Kris Jenner admitted to actually cheating during her marriage to Robert, which fueled the fire, of course, and the future momager was only 22 when she married Robert. And it's safe to say that she wasn't quite ready for a lifetime commitment. Kris and Robert's marriage was marked by controversy. In March of 2020, Kris made a moving confession while chatting with fashion designer Diane von Furstenberg, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, on Diane's In Charge with DVF podcast. Now, she said her unfaithfulness to Robert was her biggest regret. According to Daily Mail, Todd Waterman came forward in 2012 to claim that Kris was sleeping with him during her marriage to Robert. He alleged that their wild and passionate affair was the catalyst for Kris and Robert's divorce. Now, when Kris wrote her autobiography, Kris Jenner and All Things Kardashian, she called her mystery lover Ryan, so a little different. The rumor that Kris's former hairdresser Alex Roldan is Khloe's real father never fades because the resemblance between Alex and Khloe is honestly uncanny. While Khloe has had a nose job, she was previously, before her nose job, a shoo-in for Alex. In 2020, this rumor was stirred up again because a comedian made a comment online that was really in relatively poor taste. The comic said that Khloe and Alex look exactly the same, amongst other things. And another rumor that has circulated for years is that the late football star and actor O.J. Simpson was Khloe's actual real father. Robert Sr., was part of O.J.'s legal team during the notorious trial in which O.J. was acquitted. Robert had been a longtime friend of O.J.'s and Kris and was very close to, Nicole Brown Simpson before she was unalived. Now, in June of 2019, O.J. actually posted a video to Twitter where he denied that Khloe was his child. It's easy to wonder why fans think that O.J. is Khloe's father. After all, Kris and Robert Sr. had many friends, including O.J., whom Kris now apparently loathes, but O.J. wasn't the only high-profile person in their social circle. The conspiracy theory gained steam when a Kardashian family friend alleged that Robert knew Khloe wasn't his biological child. While O.J. is now gone, he'll always be linked to the Kardashians, including Khloe, thanks to the rumors about her paternity. Meanwhile, Alex, the other man linked with that type of, gossip, is alive and well. His business, Alex Roldan Salon, is currently listed on LinkedIn. That salon is based in Hollywood, and based on Yelp reviews, the salon is a hit with a solid overall rating of 4.9 out of 5 stars. While Alex looks, remarkably like a pre-nose job Khloe, he's never actually claimed to be her father. Many fans believe that he is her dad just based on the striking physical similarities. Khloe considers Robert Sr. her father though. He did raise her and loved her. That is her dad, and her bio dad, until she says otherwise, however, is him. But this doesn't stop fans from thinking that Kris Jenner paid a lot of money for a lot of mouths to just keep, quiet about it. Kris Jenner allegedly paid a lot of money for her daughter Kim's staged marriage to Kris Humphries to be kept a tight-lipped secret. Now, one of the most talked about events on Keeping Up with the Kardashians was Kim's extremely short-lived marriage to Kris Humphries. The marriage lasted less than 3 months and commanded headlines for months following the split. Now, the whole situation was awkward, and Humphries reportedly felt very betrayed by Kim, feeling like the marriage was all in the name of ratings. Now, according to the Washington Post, that's exactly what the marriage was meant to do, drive awareness and ratings for the Kardashians family show. Now, in fact, Kim wanted her goodbye to Humphries to be on the show, but producers actually rejected the idea. These days though, Humphries, wants nothing to do with the family and has asked to be completely omitted from Keeping Up with the Kardashians as a whole. One of the most, discussed events of Keeping Up with the Kardashians was the relationship between Kris and Kim, and so naturally people were just so excited, to tune in when Humphries proposed to Kim. While many people now feel the relationship was a sham to get ratings, many viewers were so enthralled by, the couple's impending engagement, and at the time it was just so exciting. And when the moment actually came, everything happened perfectly, and apparently that's exactly as the family wanted. HuffPost actually reported that a producer admitted that the proposal actually took place multiple times, so the camera crew, could get numerous shots in an effort to get the best angles possible for the show. In fact, some actually revealed Kim had a role in planning the placement and lighting, so she could get the angles that of course she wanted for herself. Now when the news was, starting to hit the public that this whole thing was basically a sham and a lie, Kris allegedly tried to pay a really pretty penny to news outlets and gossip blogs and columns to not disclose this information and to keep it a secret. Of course she didn't want her new, rising in popularity reality show to be tarnished or canceled because people was just thinking it was all fake. To this day, every Kardashian/Jenner will deny that their marriage wasn't legit. The only thing to come out in regards to it was when Kim said on a Keeping Up with the Kardashians reunion special that she admitted that she should have followed her cold feet before going through, with their 2011 marriage to the NBA player. But honestly, at this point, way too much has transpired since, for anyone to truly care about whether or not it was real. Kris Jenner may have been the one to leak Kim's infamous tape. Easily one of the most controversial, moments in the Kardashian saga is the release of Kim's intimate tape with Ray J. When the tape was first leaked, Kim, sued the company to keep it out of the public eye. However, many pointed out that Kim has made an impressive $5 million from the home movie, and it's possible the leak was a publicity stunt move. In fact, Ray J said it was Kim's mom, Kris, who actually released the tape. Many believe, the release by Kris was meant to drive attention to the family, a move that worked very well if that was the case. Only 6 months after the tape was leaked, Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered with very strong viewership. For her part, Kris did a lie detector test on the Late Late Show with James Corden and said she had nothing to do with the leak. In Ray J's 44-minute rant, he never says Kris negotiated for the tape's distribution with Vivid Entertainment, the company that released the tape. He does, however, though, say there were 2 different tapes, not just one, but one shot in Cabo and one in Santa Barbara, and he says, Kris handpicked the one where Kim looked the best. By the way, the 3rd tape that is allegedly to be there is labeled Intro. He also says in his contract with Vivid, where the 3 tapes are mentioned, that Kim's fingerprints are on them, literally. Now, he says Kim wrote the section describing the 3 tapes. What's significant about this, though, is that Ray J says this is, the original contract he signed giving Vivid the rights, and he says Kim's handwriting is right there. It's interesting, though, Hirsch, part of Vivid, has said he acquired the tape not from Kim or Ray J, but from a third party. He was never, specific, but what he did say is, we are very confident in our legal position. Under California law, the person whose image is portrayed in such a video must sign off either directly or through an agent in order for the distributor to have a solid legal, position. Kim also allegedly sued Vivid for invasion of privacy, claiming that she never authorized its release. She says she ended up settling with Vivid and the suit was dropped. It was taken off the market, months later after a third party bought it from Vivid. Now, Ray J says both he and Kim struck a deal with Vivid for about $400,000 each up front and 12.5% of the profits for each of them. Now, on Instagram, Ray J deemed the lie detector test that Kris took as fake, called them frauds. Ray J also took, aim at Corden and CBS for hiring John Grogan, which is the person, who gave, the lie detector test to Kris, and airing the lie detector test segment, period. Representatives actually for the Late Late Show and its host did not respond or comment, of course. Ray J said in his rant, this is the dude Kris Jenner had taken her lie detector test from to make me look like a liar. together. And what's more sad is the network allowed it to happen. Everybody is getting sued for defamation. I can't wait to show you the truth. I don't give, what anybody says or feels at this point. You already think I'm a horrible person from what they've been making me look like. I'm going on one of the biggest rants of my life tonight to clear my name of this negativity. Now, despite his over the top rant on social media, none of the Kardashians responded or even acknowledged it. But the truth will probably come out one day, I'm sure of it. Did Kris Jenner pay her own son to keep a lot of secrets? Well, keep secrets. Not everyone in the Kardashian clan is a fan of the show, or the direction the family has taken. Rob Kardashian in particular has been very critical and believes, it's tainted his family in terrible ways. In fact, Rob's, disdain for keeping up with the Kardashian led him to skip Kim's wedding to Kanye so he could avoid, the show's cameras. In 2015, news broke that Rob had been hospitalized due to type 2 diabetes. And during this time, the reality star's weight gain became a subject of public scrutiny. Now, unfortunately, Rob was constantly compared to his sisters, who had become, prominent figures in the fashion and beauty industry. Now, it was as if society had imposed an unspoken beauty standard that all Kardashians must adhere to, and Rob bore the brunt of this pressure. Even his sister Khloe could empathize, having faced her own, share of public scrutiny. Now, the relentless body shaming Rob endured only added to his diminishing presence on the show. Apparently, Rob's disapproval of his family's choice of career and lifestyle is only worsening at this point as well, because there's only a couple of family members, including Khloe, who still check on him from time to time. Now, he's been involved in personal struggles, including legal battles and mental health issues, which have contributed to his decision to stay out of the spotlight. But many people think Kris has paid him off to not only, be involved and not be involved in the show, but to not expose secrets as well, on purpose or by accident. Rob was involved in a very, long legal battle with his ex-fiancée Blac Chyna. She sued him, and the family for attacks, defamation, and cancellation of their e-show. And so, right now at this time, Chyna and Rob, none of them have commented on any of these allegations. They likely never will. I mean, of course, just maybe, unless they stop getting paid for keeping their mouth shut.
These are the Kardashian family secrets they never wanted you to find out. Kris Jenner's past is dripping with chaos, affairs, and family feuds. Forget the glam and glitz. The Kardashian matriarch has some juicy tales that could make even the most seasoned soap opera writer blush. Allegations from Robert Kardashian's old diaries suggest Kris had her fair share of mommy meltdowns, especially when it came to her superstar daughter Kim.
Show me where. Now just breathe. Everything's gonna be fine.
Apparently, she wasn't just managing a reality show. She was managing some seriously chaotic family moments.
Billy and Dilly. Stop. Okay, stop. You too. Okay.
And let's not ignore the whispers about Kris's romantic escapades. Talk about a plot twist. While the family insists these claims are as fictional as a Kardashian diet plan, the intrigue just keeps bubbling up like a fizzy soda at a family barbecue. So, what's the real scoop behind those designer shades? Is Kris a savvy businesswoman or just a master of keeping secrets? One thing's for sure, with this family, there's always more to uncover. The Kardashians have business deals shadowed by unpaid labor and shady factories. Back in 2011, whispers of a workplace condition scandal started swirling around the Kardashian collection. The allegations? That their shoe line was being produced in less than ideal conditions. Star magazine reported the claims, sparking rumors of child labor and unsafe factories. The Kardashians, of course, denied any wrongdoing, calling the claims untrue. Fast forward to today, and Kim K is facing a lawsuit from her domestic workers who allege unpaid overtime, missed breaks, and other not-so-glamorous labor practices. One former worker even claimed they were fired after bringing up concerns about overtime pay. Kim's response? Blaming a third-party vendor. Sound familiar? And let's not forget Kylie Jenner's brand being linked to garment factories set of stiffing workers. It seems like this family's business ventures have a knack for stirring up controversy. Whether it's a workplace condition or a wage dispute, the Kardashians always know how to keep us talking. Kris and Bruce Jenner's marriage was as real as a designer handbag at a knockoff sale. This duo, who seemed like the ultimate power couple on reality TV, had a relationship that was more scripted than a soap opera. Kris and Bruce tied the knot in 1991, just a month after Kris's messy split from Robert Kardashian. While they smiled for the cameras and played happy family on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, insiders claimed their marriage was far from picture perfect. Caitlyn Jenner later spilled the tea in her memoir, revealing that Kris was controlling and often prioritized fame over family. Oh, and those rumors of Kris's romantic escapades? Let's just say they didn't help matters. By 2013, the cracks were too big to hide, and the pair announced their separation. But here's the kicker. Caitlyn revealed that Kris allegedly knew about her gender identity struggles all along and still pushed for the perfect couple image to keep up appearances. So was it love or just another Kardashian PR stunt? Either way, this power couple turned out to be more of a plot twist than a fairy tale. O.J. Simpson hiding out in Kim Kardashian's bedroom? Yes, that actually happened. Before the Kardashians became Hollywood royalty, their lives were already tangled in headline-making drama. In the mid-90s, during the infamous O.J. Simpson trial, the former football star was more than just a family friend. He was practically part of the Kardashian inner circle. Robert Kardashian, Kim's dad, was one of O.J.'s defense attorneys, and when things got heated, O.J. allegedly sought refuge at the Kardashian home. Here's where it gets wild. Reports claim O.J. was hiding in Kim's childhood bedroom while Robert tried to keep things under control. Yep, little Kim K's room became a temporary safe haven for one of the most questionable figures of the decade. Talk about a prequel to the drama-filled Kardashian empire. While the family has mostly kept quiet about their ties to O.J., it's a chapter of their history that fans can't stop obsessing over. From courtroom chaos to living room secrets, this bizarre connection is proof that the Kardashians have been at the center of jaw-dropping stories long before reality TV came calling. Khloe Kardashian may not be a Kardashian after all. For years, the burning question has been, is Robert Kardashian really her biological dad? It's a rumor that's dogged Khloe, turning her family history into a never-ending episode of Who's the Daddy? Adding fuel to the fire, Kris Jenner dropped a bombshell in her memoir, confessing to romantic escapades during her marriage to Robert. Cue the internet detectives. Names like O.J. Simpson and hairstylist Alex Roldan have been thrown into the mix based on some, shall we say, interesting comparisons. Even O.J. himself chimed in, on Twitter naturally. But let's face it, that only made things juicier. Khloe, bless her heart, has always considered Robert her father, but she's also had to endure relentless buzz. To make things even wilder, she's admitted to making Tristan Thompson take multiple paternity tests for their son, Tatum. It seems questioning paternity is now a family tradition and a Kardashian trait. So, is Khloe's parentage just a tabloid fantasy, or is there a truth bomb waiting to explode? Until the DNA test results come back, the Khloe paternity drama remains one of the most captivating and kooky Kardashian mysteries. The Kardashian house on TV is a total facade. Turns out, the home we all thought was the epicenter of Kardashian drama wasn't even where Kris Jenner hung her designer hats. Yep, when Keeping Up with the Kardashians first hit our screens, the action supposedly revolved around Kris's house. Plot twist: Kris didn't actually live there. She lived a whole 20 miles away. The house, which has also been featured in shows like American Horror Story and True Blood, was just a set piece. Fans were shaken when they realized the house wasn't even hers. It only came out years later when the house went up for sale. Can you imagine all those iconic scenes? The family meetings, the dramatic meltdowns happening in a rented space. So why the big deception? Was it for privacy or just another way to keep us hooked on their carefully crafted reality? Either way, the fact that the Kardashian family home was nothing more than a set just proves that what we see on TV isn't always what we get. And that, my friends, is the ultimate Kardashian secret. Scott and Kourtney's fights were all for the cameras. While their on-screen drama had fans glued to their seats, behind the scenes, it turns out these exchanges were often more choreographed than chaotic. From arguments over parenting styles to playful jabs about each other's love lives, Scott and Kourtney's bickering became a staple of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. But insiders have revealed that many of these confrontations were just for show. Producers knew that a little drama would keep viewers tuning in week after week, so they often encouraged Scott and Kourtney to amp up the tension for the cameras. One memorable blowout involved Kourtney throwing a drink at Scott during a dinner party. Classic reality TV gold. But sources close to the production hinted that it was all planned out, with producers giving them a nudge to create some fireworks. So, while fans were gasping at the drama unfolding on screen, Scott and Kourtney were likely laughing it off behind the scenes. As the curtain falls on this chapter of Kardashian history, it's clear When it comes to reality TV, sometimes the realness is just a little too scripted. Kim Kardashian's 72-day marriage was a ratings stunt. Kim's whirlwind romance with Kris Humphries had fans swooning, but whispers of a business transaction have long dogged their short-lived union. In 2011, Kim's fairy tale wedding to the NBA player became a two-part TV special, drawing in a whopping 10.5 million viewers for E! But just 72 days later, Kim filed for separation, leading Kris to request an annulment due to dishonesty. The internet filled with speculation. Was it all a publicity stunt? While Kim moved on to Kanye West, making more money, fame, and accolades, many believed she'd married Kris for ratings and a storyline. Some sources estimated Kim earned around $250,000 per day during their marriage, thanks to sponsorship deals and media coverage. Even those close to production said they assumed that Kim realized she didn't want to marry him prior to the wedding, but continued through her contractual commitments. So, was their love story genuine or just a carefully calculated move to boost the Kardashian empire? Either way, it cemented Kim's status as a savvy businesswoman who knows how to turn a wedding and a separation into a major payday. Forget the bouquet toss, Kim was throwing dollar signs.